We all have a story. Your story is not my story, and my story is not yours. However, we can find joy, hope, and emotional healing even through our most painful moments in life. Let's walk and take this journey of healing together, one step at a time, because your story does not define you. Hey, God's beautiful people, and happy Thanksgiving to you all. I hope that you all have had an amazing day. We made it another day by God's grace and mercy, and I am so thankful and grateful to share this space with you today. I hope that your Thanksgiving has been everything that you wanted to be and some. What a blessing. Dr. Niesha here, and welcome back to Your Story Does Not Define You, the podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I want to say welcome to you and say thank you so much for listening in. I would love for you to follow this podcast and share it with a friend, because this is definitely a platform and a space for us to listen to our stories and find hope and healing in the power of our stories. We definitely can resonate with some of the stories that have been shared. If it's not our own story, however, it could be somebody else's that we know. So definitely just want to continue to take the opportunity to provide this space of listening and sharing our stories. So what has been your vibe today? Because remember, you decide your vibe. Don't forget, you have to do those daily check-ins every day and check your mood and check your temperature for the day. It is so very important that we assess how we are feeling before we start our day and be present with our emotions and know what space we are in, and definitely shift gears if we have to. You will be so surprised how much you will learn about yourself when you do this. It's very important. So I definitely encourage you to continue to do your daily check-ins and check your vibe for the day. So my vibe today has been thankful and grateful. I've definitely been in a space of gratitude and thankfulness for the day. Fall is definitely in full effect. It is the Thanksgiving Day holiday, and I'm really glad that I have gotten the opportunity to travel this Thanksgiving holiday and spend time with my family and friends and laugh, eat good food, and have fun times. It's really truly been a blessing, and I definitely don't take that for granted. I'm very thankful for all the people in my life in different capacities. You know, I have so many people in my life that I cherish and that mean so much to me. And so I'm definitely basking in the moment of gratitude and very thankful for the people that are in my life. So we are definitely in the holiday season, and the holiday season is here. And although many of our stories during this season are joyous and a happy time for us, because we may love fall, Thanksgiving, and Christmas and spending time with family and friends, I will say definitely Christmas is my time of the year. I love Thanksgiving and I love Christmas for sure. Many of us engage in cultural rituals and family traditions, giving gifts and receiving gifts. Our kiddos are out of school and we are definitely taking time off from work. So this is definitely a happy time for so many. However, there are some of us whose stories are a little bit different. As this is a happy time for some, it is also a sad time for others. Many people are struggling with the loss of loved ones and not being present for the holidays, or either loss of relationships, feelings of loneliness, financial stress of the shopping agenda. You know, this is a season where people start spending money and people feel obligated to spend money. So definitely a lot of stress associated with that. Lack of social and family connections, isolation, and also many experience what is called seasonal affective disorder during this time. And I've talked about this before. Recently, I did a live on my social media platforms talking about seasonal affective disorder. And typically during this time of the year, I definitely try my best to have a conversation on my social media platform just to kind of educate people on what seasonal affective disorder is. And seasonal affective disorder is just basically a type of depression that occurs during a specific time of the season, and particularly that happens in the fall and winter months when the daylight hours decrease and it gets darker earlier and there is less sunshine in the day. So you typically see more clouds, more gloomy days outside, and it's just kind of like, it just puts like a damper on your spirit. So a lot of people experience seasonal affective disorder during this time. So today, I really want to take some time and speak about both stories. I plan to record this podcast earlier today. However, got caught up with traveling and spending time with my family, and things have just been busy. Life has been lifing. So I'm definitely a little behind than what I want it to be as far as recording this episode. So again, as I just mentioned, I definitely want to take some time to speak to both stories, right? So if your story is one of happiness during this season, or if your story is that of sadness and being on the struggle bus, let's talk about them. And let's talk about how we all can get through this season and be okay in whatever space we are in. Because regardless of what our story is, we all experience some level of stress and bliss due to the holidays. Whether that is scheduling family gatherings and the logistics of that, travel, securing childcare while the kiddos are off from school, again, financial stress of buying food and gifts. During this time, people tend to dip into their savings. We start maxing out our credit cards. And not only that, we overindulge in too much food. Yes, this is a time of year that we like to eat. Again, we like to break bread with each other. So we find ourselves overindulging in too much food. And sometimes even drinking too much, right? So this causes a lot of weight gain. And then that just comes with feelings of guilt, trying to find balance of work and family, or just even trying to go through the grief and loss of people that you have lost. So like grief and pain of thinking about the person that you've lost, or either the relationship that you lost, and missing those loved ones. It's really painful to have holidays, and holidays aren't really the same because we don't have those special people in our life. So I would like to say that I really feel that we all experience some form of stress or anxiety during the holiday season. And so, like I said, regardless if this is a happy time for you or regardless if this is a sad time for you, we are all experiencing some of the same stress and anxiety. So I want to take a moment and think about what aspects of the holiday season cause you the most stress and why. I really want you to take a moment and think about that. I want you to allow this to be a moment of transparency for yourself and really think about that. What is your stress that is associated with the holidays? What is your body telling you? So, what emotions are you feeling that are surfacing for you during this time? Take a moment and think about that. Now, what I would like to say, or what I would like to share in regards to that is, whatever is coming up for you, whatever stress that you have identified is your stress associated with the holidays, and whatever feelings and emotions that are rising up for you, don't ignore the tension in your body. Don't ignore the headache that you're having. Don't ignore the stomach ache that you're having, or that feeling of queasiness or nauseous in your stomach. Don't ignore the excitement. Sit with your anxiety. Sit with that sadness. Sit with the joy. Sit with the confusion. And even sit with the happiness. Whatever your emotion is, I want you to learn how to sit with it and allow yourself to completely feel it. If you think that you are having good emotions, definitely take them all in. Sit with those good emotions, take them all in, and bask in that moment. Feel those good feelings, because these are things that we want to feel, right? We want to feel joy. We want to feel happiness. We want to feel excitement. We want to feel these things when we are around people that we love and when we are around our families. And if for some reason you aren't experiencing those happy feelings, but you are feeling those negative emotions, don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed of whatever emotion that you're feeling, even if it's a negative emotion, I want you to be completely 100% honest with your truth. And I want you to learn how to manage that emotion. So don't feel the need that you have to run away from the negative emotion and that you have to tell yourself that you shouldn't feel these things. But again, sit with that. Sit with that anxiety, because for one, anxiety is something that we all experience at some point, at some time in our life. No one is exempt from feeling anxiety. We all have it, whether that's good anxiety or whether that's bad anxiety. We all have it at some point. So when I say sit with it, I'm just encouraging you to learn how to develop a healthy relationship with that emotion, whatever that emotion may be, right? Even if it's a negative emotion, you definitely can learn how to develop a healthy relationship with that emotion. And that's basically not letting the emotion overtake you, but you actually having the power to manage that emotion. So, how do we get through this holiday bliss and cultivate a season of hope and joy, even during times that cause us stress? Well, guess what? I'm glad you asked. So I just want to offer some helpful tools that I feel will benefit you, whether your story is a story of happiness or a story of sadness. So 1, always acknowledge your feelings and share your feelings if you need to. Accept that you are sad due to having to spend the holiday without a loved one that you lost, or not being able to be present with family this year. Again, travel can be expensive, or either, family members have moved, or either you've relocated and you may not even have the finances that you need to go fly or go drive to visit your family. So it may not be actually the loss of a loved one, but just the fact that you can't be present with your family this season for whatever reason. Acknowledge that you miss them and think of memories and share special memories that you have with them. Laugh about those moments that were funny, and know that even though they are not here or that you're not able to be with them, that they are there with you in spirit. And whatever memories that you have of your family or your loved one, remember that you get to hold all of those memories of that person or those people, because they are yours and no one can take them from you. So for example, even if you aren't in the same relationship that maybe you were in last year, maybe you've moved on, or maybe you guys have separated and went your separate ways. It could have been a mutual separation, or it could have been a mutual breakup. Or it even could have been, okay, maybe it wasn't a mutual breakup and you were sad about the relationship. However, I definitely want to encourage you to still think about those happy times and those happy moments, because again, those are memories that belong to you and nobody can take that from you, because these are things that you're going to remember for the rest of your life and they belong to you and nobody can take them. So I just really, really want you to learn how to also acknowledge your happy feelings and be realistic that even though you have happy feelings, that may not always be happy all the time. And if that's the case, that is okay, right? So sometimes we get excited about going to spend time with our families and our loved ones because we're really excited about seeing people that we haven't seen in a long time. However, sometimes during family gatherings, people get into it, right? So understanding that you may start off with happy feelings, happy emotions at the beginning of the trip, but by the time sometimes you leave, okay, maybe there's discussions that take place that aren't the best, or, people indulge in conversations that aren't the best. And so maybe some of those happy feelings that you had originally, you don't have anymore. And if for some reason that changes, guess what? That is okay, right? The next thing is, I want you to learn how to set healthy boundaries with yourself and others. It is okay to say no. You have to learn to say no when you need to. So, for example, no if you can't make an event. No if you are not in a space to be around people and you choose to stay at home. No if you can't afford to bring something or cook something. Know if you don't want the responsibility of cooking everything. I know that sometimes, when people are in charge of hosting Thanksgiving, that, okay, you are responsible for cooking everything. And sometimes you don't want to cook everything. So this is definitely a time when you have to learn how to delegate duties during the holidays. Ask people to bring a dish or ask people to bring certain things so that the responsibility will not just be on you. So I know for me, Thanksgiving is a holiday that I always cooked. I have cooked on Thanksgiving for years. And typically I do all the cooking and I do most of the work. People come over, they share. So I'm up all week the day before, prepping, getting things prepared for Thanksgiving. And it does become overwhelming. So, for example, this Thanksgiving holiday, I was really excited and looking forward to the fact that I got to leave and I got to travel. And so all of the responsibility of cooking was not on me. And so I actually got the opportunity to kind of just assist rather than being in charge of cooking. So definitely learn how to delegate duties and have other people help you. Just remember that no is a complete sentence. It is okay to set boundaries with family, with friends, if you need to. And one of the reasons why setting boundaries is so important during the holidays is because, and not just during the holidays, but just in general, setting boundaries protects your peace. Your peace is something that is so valuable and you have to protect it at all costs. Be realistic with yourself and know how much you can handle this season, right? And know what you need to create that space of peace for yourself, and give yourself the gift of peace because your peace is so important. Next thing I would like to offer to you is create connection. Connect with family and connect with friends. Whether that is a person that you are going to be able to see in person. Some of us will be able to see our family members in person. Okay, if you can't, video chat your person, call them on the phone. Whatever you have to do, connect with someone. And the reason being is because connecting with others is so important because, again, as human beings, which I've talked about this before in other platforms, is that our biological makeup, we crave relationships, right? We long connection. We long for connection and we long for relationships. So definitely make sure that you connect with someone during this holiday season. There's so many benefits of connecting with people. Another benefit of connecting with others, it definitely decreases feelings of loneliness. So, call and check on someone. Call and check on someone that maybe has been struggling this holiday season, or maybe somebody that that recently lost a loved one or lost a loved one in the past, and that, during the holidays it's really hard for them. So, connect with them. Connection is important because it decreases anxiety and depression, and it also helps regulate any negative emotions. And not only that, but it also helps with increasing your self-esteem. So, take a moment and FaceTime your friends, call those people, send them a text, let them know that you love them and that even though you would love to be around them for whatever reason you can't, you're still thinking about them. So for sure, connect, send texts. I know for sure today I've gotten several text messages from people sending me text messages just telling me happy Thanksgiving and, wishing me well and wishing the best for me and my family. I know myself that I posted, on my social media platforms. I've also, text people myself, called my family members, wish them a happy Thanksgiving, talk to them and just try to connect with people as much as I can. So again, connect. I can't stress that enough. As human beings, we long for relationships and we long for connection. So definitely want to encourage you to connect. The next thing is create pockets of joy. So when I say pockets of joy, I love to use this. I use this in a therapy room with my clients. And this is just making space for things you love and enjoy. Engage in healthy activities that bring you joy. And whatever that is, whatever it looks like for you, it may not look the same for somebody else. So definitely learn how to create moments of joy. engaging in activities that bring you joy. So that could be something like baking. I think I talked to one of my clients the other day, and she was talking about how she was so excited about, she was going to bake with her kids. They were out of school. She was off work. So she was pretty excited about, wanting to bake with her children. Listening to a song, a favorite song that you enjoy, reading a book, playing a game, and sitting in silence. Sometimes sitting in silence brings you joy. For me, that definitely brings me joy. Sometimes I just need solace, and sometimes I just need to sit in a space by myself and just have a moment of quietness, and just be able to take in my day, kind of like reprocess my day, and then also think about, what I want for myself, and then just have that space of peace. Drawing, buying yourself a drink that you love. Create pockets of joy. Again, whatever that looks like, during the holiday seasons, one of the things I love to encourage people to do is play family games. Play family games that create laughter, and laugh. Laugh, 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 laugh. Laughter is good for the soul. It makes you feel good. It releases those endorphins in your body that are healthy for you. So definitely create the pockets of joy. It's really great to when you can be around people. And again, if you can't be around people for whatever reason that is, I definitely encourage you to create pockets of joy. This will also help you to not sit in a space of isolation and, just kind of being at home and kind of just like, wallowing in your sadness, but find pockets of joy and create those pockets of joy for yourself. Another thing I would like to offer you is just give yourself some grace. Laugh instead of crying, because I know that sometimes that when we don't have people in our lives, or again, if we don't have same relationships that we had before, we can find ourselves sad and we can find ourselves crying, but definitely challenge yourself to laugh instead of crying. Show yourself self-compassion, be self-compassionate towards yourself. Be kind to yourself. Learn and continue to work on forgiving yourself and just accepting yourself in the hard moments. Because again, if your story is the story of sadness and your story is the story of seasonal affective disorder, it is definitely sometimes hard to be in this moment, in those moments, and be in those spaces. So definitely learn to accept yourself in the hard moments and forgive yourself and be kind and compassionate to yourself. Compliment yourself. Even if you don't get to be around people, get dressed up, still look nice, do your hair for the day, even if you're just going to be at home by yourself watching TV or, going to pick up a fast food meal for dinner. Okay, that's fine, but still get dressed up, look nice, and compliment yourself. And just know that, even being alone and being around family, they both can be hard. Being around family can be hard, being alone can be hard, because for one, even though sometimes being around family is exciting, sometimes people really struggle with engaging in the conversations because it feels awkward, right? If there's a topic that you're not really familiar with, or a topic that people are talking about that you don't feel comfortable with, then sometimes it's hard to engage in that conversation. So that's when you find yourself being awkward. So, it goes both ways that, it can be a hard time for you, whether you're with people or whether you're not with people. However, just know that you can say what you want to say to yourself to make yourself feel comfortable. And you can say what you don't want to say, right? You do what's best for you. And just remember that even when you're around family and friends, that if you choose not to say anything, it's okay for you to be in silence. If a conversation is happening that you are not really educated about or that you don't feel comfortable about, remember that you don't have to talk. You can sit in silence and not say anything. I just want you to remember that if your story is a happy story or is a sad one, no one is perfect. And we definitely are all just trying our best, and that's all we can do. And so with that being said, you definitely have to continue to show yourself compassion, because again, we're doing the best that we can do. The next thing I would like to offer you is set healthy habits during the holiday season. Now, This is so important because the holiday season is a time that we do lots of things, and sometimes we make a lot of unwise decisions. However, I just really want to encourage you to set healthy habits during the holiday season. So make sure that you get plenty of rest and restore yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. You can disconnect sometimes from your family if you have to take care of yourself. Even though food is one of the joys that we look forward to during the holidays, as well as food can be something that causes guilt and shame, because if we overeat and if we gain too much weight during the holidays, then food becomes something that is joyous and fun to something that is shameful, and we have a lot of guilt associated with food. So make sure you're exercising, take breaks when you need to, drink plenty of water, and don't drink too much alcohol, and don't drink and drive. So these are healthy habits that we can engage in during the holiday season. And don't engage in any substances that cause your body harm. Because again, remember, these are healthy habits. I know that, again, during the holiday season, food is comforting, food is fun, food is good. Drinking alcohol, a lot of people drink alcohol during the holiday season, and sometimes you overindulge. And again, these can turn into negative things. So the thing that I want you to keep in mind is that we want to be healthy, right? Be active and move around and do some physical activities. Move around. Movement definitely helps improve your physical health, your mental health. And ultimately, you just really, really want to learn to be mindful and think about yourself and know your limits. What are your limits? Knowing your limits with food is important. Knowing your limits with drinking is important. Just knowing your limits. That is something that is really going to help you to get through this holiday season. Also, know that the value in gift giving is not in how much things cost, but the value comes from the posture of your heart. So I know that during the holiday season, people stress often about spending money, buying gifts and things like that. But don't stress yourself if you cannot financially afford certain gifts to give to others. But know that gift giving definitely can be more than just buying things. Gift giving can be your presence, your physical presence. It can be something you made. It can be something you are passing down to somebody. So like, one of my cousins, I know she really loves bags, and she's into name brand bags. And I know one of the things that she loves to do during Christmas time is that she loves to give her daughters bags. And, she passes down her bags to her daughters, and they're gently used, so practically brand new. So again, she didn't have to go out and spend money again, but she just passed that down to them. So even passing down a gift to somebody is definitely something that could be a beautiful gift. A gift can just be kind words. You can just share kind words with somebody, but ultimately, the goal is that you don't want to stress about spending money trying to buy gifts during the holiday season, because again, the holidays are not about spending money. It's not about going broke. It's not about becoming stressed over buying gifts. Because again, when we do this, all this does is adds to our mental and emotional anguish. And this is not what we want to do, right? So we want to remember that we still have to live after we pay bills. When the holidays are over, we don't want to spend the next year until Christmas time trying to pay off our credit cards or trying to get our bills back on track, because we stressed ourselves out to the point that we've overspent money, and then again, caused ourselves mental and emotional anguish. So the last thing that I would like to offer you guys during this episode is to learn to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. I'm going to say that again. Learn to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Despite our story and our situation, remember, we all have something to be grateful for, and we all have something to be thankful for. So just try your best to find things to be grateful for. Whether this is a happy or a sad time for you, remember, things can always be worse, and we are just one bad decision and one step away from being in a predicament that we we don't want to be in. So we definitely want to make sure that we're living in the now. Because again, it's easy to dwell on things from the past, and then, get caught up in negative emotions and things that we wish we could have done or things that we wish we could change, but we really can't. So, just know that every day that we wake up is a new day. And every day that we wake up is another day for us to change our mind and our attitude and our choices. So this is where we have to really, really, really practice gratitude and learn not to compare our lives with others and just be grateful for life. Life is so precious, and, we could be here today and gone tomorrow. And so we really, really have to just celebrate the moments that we have and the life that we have, and just be grateful that we are alive today, and recognize that each day that we wake up in the morning is definitely a gift from God. Each day that we wake up in the morning and are blessed to see another day is a gift and a blessing from God. So we definitely want to look for the good, even in the bad situations, and definitely don't take anything for granted. Be grateful for health. And I just can't emphasize enough, just, appreciate the small things in life and celebrate all your wins, even the very small ones, the ones that you think are so minute and that you feel that, people don't even really care, or you feel like, oh, that's not worth celebrating. Celebrate those wins. All of the wins, celebrate all of them, because again, life is so precious, and no matter what state we're in and no matter what our life looks like, we all have something to be grateful for and thankful for. And, it really really resonated with me today, while at my family gathering at my sister's house, talking to one of her friends who definitely was in a way better situation than what she is currently. Definitely life for her. She went from having a lot of things, a lot of name brand things, a good life, good home, lots of money, lots of just being able to do whatever she wanted to do, to, life for her. And she's definitely struggling with an addiction now. And, I sat and talked to her today and just kind of let her just share some things with me that she wanted to share. And today was a hard day for her because she lost her sister several years ago to breast cancer. And, she just talked about how today was a rough day for her. But one thing that I really, really admired is that, she gave herself space to have a moment. She gave herself space to do exactly what I told you guys to do earlier, is that, allowing herself to sit with her sadness and sit with her grief of the loss of her sister, and allow herself a time to be by herself and space to process her feelings. So that way, when she came over today for Thanksgiving, she definitely wanted to be in a better space and a better mindset of just being able to celebrate, being around people and having a better attitude. But that just warmed my heart. It saddened me to see her in this predicament, because I did see her when things were going great for her and when life was doing good, and again, life. And so now she's in a different place. But just even talking to her and just seeing her positive attitude, just really encouraged me. So again, I can't stress enough that we just got to be grateful. We got to be thankful and just celebrate, life, because again, life is a gift and it's not promised to us. Sometimes we take it for granted because we think that we're going to wake up every day. And we just think that, things are just going to keep going good for us. But we never know when one bad decision or one bad situation can definitely put us in a different predicament. So yeah, celebrate your life. So, there are so many more things that I can offer to help us get through the holiday bliss. And again, whether this is a happy time for you or whether this is a sad time for you, I just want you to remember that whatever your story is, embrace your story, and know that the holidays are a time to take care of you and your mental and emotional needs. Yes, I know, we spend time with family and friends, and sometimes we even spend times by ourselves, but ultimately, it all starts with you And you being present with the space that you are in and your feelings is so important, because again, this is a prime time to take care of you. So let us challenge ourselves to do things differently this holiday season. And let us look at things from a different perspective. So if the holiday has been previously a hard time for you, I want to encourage you to acknowledge your feelings and be present with those feelings. But I want you to take it a step further, and I want you to do something to improve your mood. Don't do what you've done in the past, Don't allow yourself to sit in your sadness for too long. But I want you to really take a step further and do something different. So know that you're worth loving. Know that you can put your needs first. And know that you are worth happiness and love, and you deserve that. You deserve love, you deserve happiness, and that you're worth it. Life may not be like it's always been, and I can't stress that enough. We're living in a different time, and lots of things are changing in our world today, and we're losing a lot of people, and you may not have the same people around. You may not have the same friend circle that you had. You may not even be living in the same place that you lived last year. However, I just really, really want to encourage you. Don't let these life transitions and these life changes discourage you. Because even in the midst of transitions and even in the midst of life can still be good. And you can still find happiness. Even if you have to look deep, deep down inside to find it, it's there. It's really all what you make it. And this is the thing that I want to encourage you. What may have been your norm before doesn't have to be your norm now, because you can control how you approach things. So with that, I really hope that this podcast episode has been something that will really help you get through the holidays this season. I really would love to hear your feedback. I appreciate everybody that's kind of been reaching out to me and giving me your feedback. But I really would love to hear your feedback about this episode and how this episode has helped you to get through the holiday season. So with that, Dr. Niesha here, wishing you all the best and all of the love this holiday season. I love you all. Until next time, blessings on top of blessings. Have a happy holiday season this year.